Howdy, folks. I'm the Mighty Mouse King, mischievously menacing merriment makers.
I'm Amber.
And here are more merriment makers for us to be mischievous for and menace. Let's get started. Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Expressing to My In-Laws that I don't want to be their server for their family's Christmas dinner? So I'm a newlywed, and my in-laws are rolling into town for Christmas and staying at my husband and my new house. They mentioned that they want to dine out for Christmas dinner, but I offered to whip up a home-cooked feast instead. Unfortunately, they turned down the offer. Now, here's where things get interesting. I'm currently working as a server in our town after recently being laid off from my corporate job. Lucky for me, the restaurant is closed on Christmas Eve and on Christmas. Well, it turns out that my mother-in-law had other plans. She called up my workplace without speaking to me beforehand and asked for me to be their server for their entire Christmas dinner. I found out through my husband that I would be playing the role of their server for their festive family celebration, and my gift would be a sweet tip and takeout from the restaurant. This seemed a bit odd, especially since our restaurant isn't even open on Christmas Eve or Christmas, and I would be available to spend time with them on those days. They're scheduling this dinner the day before we close and making it their designated family celebration. I politely declined because, let's be real, being excluded from Christmas dinner while working as their server, that's a hard pass for me. Unfortunately, I was told that I was being dramatic and that there's nothing weird about me being their server for their family's Christmas dinner. Thoughts, anyone? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, no, that is just horrible. Like, I'm so sorry, Opie, that your in-laws are really not nice people.
Yeah.
Like, it's told, Opie mentions in the comments that the in-laws are really rich and also really white. And Opie, it sounds like, doesn't come from the same either racial background or economic background. And so this is very clearly at least classism going on here. Like they intentionally are trying to rub it in Opie's face that you're not one of us, you're beneath us, you're never going to be one of us.
And I think that's really what this boils down to. They are making it abundantly clear that OP is not one of them and is not part of the family. OP is not part of their family celebration for a reason. And there's a reason why OP is the one serving them during this family celebration.
And so, like, if OP's husband doesn't, like, get on them yesterday, like, I can't believe he even agreed to this, but, like, he had better get on them, like, yesterday and, like, tell them this is entirely unacceptable. I can't believe I ever agreed to this plan.
Yeah.
Or else it might be time to start reconsidering this marriage, because no partner should be willing to let their wife be humiliated.
Yeah, exactly. I think that this is set up to be a humiliating situation for OP. So I do think that OP needs to very much decline and not play into their games.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the gift too is insulting. Like, their Christmas gift to her is a tip and then takeout from her restaurant.
Yeah, a gift isn't something you work for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's then pay.
Right, and like it would presumably be contingent upon her service. Like, I have a feeling they want to do this to, like, pick her apart too, and be like, oh, well, you weren't fast enough with the drink, so you would have got an X amount of money, but we're only giving you Y.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what's happening too. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And ProFlake1 says, not the jerk, but your in-laws are though. And OP replies, I thought the request was a bit out of touch in my opinion. I thought to myself, am I not part of the family? That's exactly what they're trying to tell you, OP. And Margaret Cat Furniture says, not the jerk, and unless your husband is insisting that the family dinner actually includes you as an actual sit-down participant, you have more than just an in-law problem. And OP replies, I read that before posting. Looks like it's time for a sit-down discussion with him. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Backing Out of House Searching Because of My Stepkid? She's not technically my stepkid. Her dad and I were engaged. So we have been together for 8 years. His daughter Dana is 12. And up until last year, he wasn't allowed to see her. But it wasn't exactly all of his fault. His daughter's mom was definitely contributing to that. But last year, his ex moved back to the States after being gone for years, and they were finally able to bring her to court for a custody agreement. But he blew through every cent that he has to his name and maxed out multiple credit cards to get a good lawyer to make this happen for him. Him and I are still living separately due to a lack of space in our homes. But I went out multiple times with him and Dana, and she's different. Super demanding, very dismissive. I originally thought that maybe it was due to comfortability, but it's never changed at all. So back in March, he was finally able to start taking Dana for day visits, but up until recently, weekend stays weren't mentioned because she needed to adjust to my fiance and get to know him before that was possible. But neither of us had space in our apartment, so she can't stay for weekends at either home. He asked me if I would be willing to buy a house. My credit is good, so that he can start taking his daughter on the weekends, since we're getting married anyways. I agreed to it because I knew that this was super important to him. We started house searching last week and have been looking at 6 different homes. He insisted that Dana go with us to every single one, and she's made the experience miserable. When I talk to the realtor about my expectations, price, what I'm looking for, etc., Dana talks over me and starts in with a, "That's not going to work for me, actually," and starts demanding that we get a house with a giant walk-in closet or a bathroom attached to her bedroom with a double vanity, or 4 bedrooms so that she can have 2, one for her room and one for extra. I spoke to her dad about it 2 days ago because I'm getting cold feet with how demanding she's being. Like, if I say no, she immediately looks at her dad and says, "Guess we won't be starting weekend visits then." He said that he would try to be on top of it. But yesterday, we were looking at a gorgeous house. My dream home, really. Dana immediately said that it wouldn't work because she needed a yard for her dog. I told her that she wasn't bringing her dog to my house. She says it's my dad's house too, and he already told me that I could yesterday. So I just looked at John, and he goes, "We'll talk about it later. Sorry." I had already made it clear before house searching that her dog would not be coming. I told the realtor that I've changed my mind, sorry for wasting your time, and left. John and I drove separately. He's blowing up my phone, asking what happened, and I told him that I can't do this. I would lose my mind living with him and his kid, who he gives into constantly. I'm not buying a house for them. It was supposed to be a family thing, not a castle for Dana. He says that I'm a jerk because he finally has his kid back and he just wants her to feel welcome and loved. That as his partner, I should be more understanding because I know how important this is to him. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. I mean, this is ridiculous. OP, you are dodging a bullet by getting out of this relationship now.
Yeah.
It is very clear that if you were to buy a house and move in with them, it would be Dana's, what everything Dana says goes.
Yeah.
This man is so interested in satisfying his daughter, and it sounds like his daughter is being manipulative. She wants the son, and she will just, anytime she doesn't get her way, just be like, "Well, Dad, I guess I'm not seeing you anymore," and he caves.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of sunk costs going on here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's invested a lot of time and money into this, and that he doesn't want to feel like it's a waste.
Yeah, and so he's trying to rope you now into, like, spending all your money on his kid, and, like, you would never have money for yourself. Every single penny you get is going to go straight to Dana.
Yeah, and I think that there's going to be nothing but contempt here.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think Dana is just going to treat both of you with contempt.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't seem to respect her father in any way, shape, or form, or appreciate the time and energy he's put into being able to get visitation for her.
And he very clearly doesn't respect Opie either,
Yeah.
you know, with the whole, "Oh, well, this isn't going to work for me." Like, children usually don't even go to house showings because the parents are the ones who pick the house. And I'm not saying that that's right and children shouldn't have any say whatsoever, but the level of control she's exercising is not okay.
No. So I don't think that OP is in the wrong, and I feel really bad that this has happened. I understand that this is a really tough spot for her former partner.
Yeah.
And that he, put a lot of time and money and energy into this, but he needed to know when to cut his losses too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not OP's fault that he went ahead and spent all this money to do this too. So it just seems like he kind of went salted earth almost.
Well, and like he may have cared about Opie at one point in time, but it's clear now that she is mostly just a piggy bank to finance his daughter. Like, his daughter is always going to come first.
Yeah.
To an unreasonable degree.
Yeah.
Like, he's making her promises that he knows directly conflict with OP's needs and desires. And
exactly.
That's not okay.
Not at all. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And very last Boy Scout says, not to jerk, I would lose my mind living with him and his kid, who he gives into constantly. So you already know. Good for you. Honestly, you know already that as my partner, I should be more understanding because I know how important this is to him. So he wants, in fact, demands you to be a partner for him, while obviously he has no intention to be a partner for you. Please don't buy a house. You would only buy it for them. And please reconsider this relationship. This guy is not looking for a partner and a wife. He is looking for an enabler and a financer. And Bubbly Media 1886 says, not a jerk. Girl, first of all, he's demanding you buy a house, not because he actually wants to move in with you, but because it can suit him better and his daughter. Second, you shouldn't take her along. You're the one who's buying the house. And even if the father helps, it's still your house. He's an idiot for not talking to you about these things and letting his kid impose this and that. I think that you should get a better man. He's clearly showing you signs that you are not his priority. Alright folks, and our last letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Letting My Son Eat the Stew That My Stepdaughter Prepared for Her Friends? I have been married to my wife for 5 months, living together for almost a year before marriage. My stepdaughter, Anne, a 16-year-old female, used to split time between her parents, but is currently with us full-time as her father will be overseas until August. I also have a son, Leo, a 17-year-old male, who lives mostly with my ex-wife and with me on weekends. The kids go to different schools and have a decent relationship. My wife and Anne are great cooks. My wife's parents came from another country, and she and Anne regularly make exotic dishes from their homeland, which are delicious. Both my son and I appreciate these dishes, though we still have problems learning what it is. A few days ago, Leo stopped by for something that he left. Nobody was home, so he let himself in. Leo said that there was a big pot of stew on the stove, and it smelled delicious, and asked if he could have some. My wife or Anne often make a huge batch of food when they cook, so this was nothing surprising. I told Leo to go ahead and just leave some for us. Now, Leo is a wrestler and he eats a lot. A little while later, he sent me a photo showing me how much stew was left in the pot. I could tell that there were at least 5 servings left, so I thought nothing of it. An hour later, Anne called me, upset. She asked if I had eaten the stew that she made. It was a special recipe from her grandmother, and she invited friends over to try it. She said that the stew was supposed to feed 9 people, and she invited 6 friends, but someone obviously had eaten almost half of her stew. I told her that it was Leo and apologized, telling her that she could order a pizza for her friends and I would pay for it, and said that it was poor compensation for her friends looking forward to her stew, which she spent hours preparing, but she did take my offer. When I later apologized, and had Leo call to apologize himself, she said that she accepted our apologies, though she has been rather quiet around me. My wife later told me that I should not have just allowed Leo to eat whatever he wants in our kitchen, as sometimes she and Anne have plans for their dishes. I think that is completely ridiculous that Leo is not allowed to eat things from his own father's kitchen, and that if my wife or Anne has special plans for their food, they can put a note on it. Otherwise, things in the kitchen should be up for grabs, as the kitchen is a communal space for food, and I pay for most of the groceries. I think that if Leo is not allowed to have the food, then it's like he's not part of the family. I am willing to talk to him about portion control, but other than that, I think that he should be able to eat whatever he wants in the kitchen unless there's a note saying not to. Am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think?
Yeah, OP, you're being a huge jerk here. What could have just been a simple misunderstanding, mistake, and easily clarified. No, OP has to go and double down, be like, I buy the ingredients, so my son is entitled to everything. Like, there's a big difference between the raw ingredients, which the son is entitled to use, and the actual cooked food that has taken all the labor. Like, there's nothing stopping Leo from making his own stew.
Yeah.
And it's just entitlement to take someone else's labor and be like, well, this is in my kitchen, so it's mine now.
I think that it would have been good of OP to give the wife or daughter a call.
Yeah.
And find out whether or not it was alright to eat that stew.
Yep.
Because you never know when somebody's going to have plans. What happens if that was for like a cookout or some other gathering or something, a potluck? Who knows, right?
Yeah.
And also, he ate half of
Yeah.
the stew, half of the stew. I mean, certainly, like, portion control talk is a good thing to
It's
have,
definitely
right?
necessary, but he also needs to ask, instead of asking OP, he knows doesn't cook any of the food, he needs to actually ask the people who are cooking it.
Yeah. And certainly OP shouldn't have given permission.
Mm-hmm.
Leo should have been asking for permission from the people who cooked the food to find out if they were allowed to have it. So I think that's the biggest problem here, is that they didn't actually include the people who cooked the food in the loop of what was happening with the food.
Yeah, and it sounds like this was still on the stove, so it was either still cooking or had just finished cooking. Like, you're not gonna go stick a sticky note on a hot pot of soup and be like, oh, by the way, I want this for something. Like, it's kind of obvious
Yeah,
that someone is using it for something.
exactly.
And so I think Opie is just trying to like grasp at straws and be like, but it's a communal space. I don't know, if I were to make something and someone else were just to come in and eat it all or half of it, like that would be very frustrating because of all the labor that goes into it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't seem to understand the labor that goes into cooking.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
A monster landed on Earth, and the first thing he saw was a chicken. Can you tell me how to get to Carnegie Hall? The monster asked. Pluck, pluck, said the chicken. No, I don't play harps, said the monster. I'm a bassoonist.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, the chickens are known for their ability to play the harps. And I have licorice spice. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday! Congratulations, folks. You made it to the end of the week, and I did too, because I'm still not a ghost.
That we
Or a
know
robot. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please, have it a headline that's 5 words long.
Terrible in-laws demean son's wife.
I like it. I like it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.